Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Let's Play Sherlock Holmes Chapter One. I'm fairly sure we ended the last session inside. So we'll head back inside. And work out what on earth is going on at this point. I was thinking last night, I'm not entirely sure I buy into the open world nature of this game. I don't think that helps the game as a whole. And so it popped up, the loading screen popped up with, oh, you can do this thing in the open world. Okay, so the door is open, so it did actually save. When I told it to save, it just took us outside. Or was I outside? Did I finish outside? I can't remember already, and that was, I finished recording. I recorded last night, I can't remember how I finished it. But I thought we ended up in here. Maybe we did go outside for a bit of a meander. As we thought about things. But yeah, so the loading screens popped up with like, oh, you can do this thing, and there's this thing to look at, and I'm like, I know there's lots of stuff. I know that it's like, oh, there's this coin this coin thing, this hidden coin, and there's furniture, and there's the newspapers, and there's all the cases, there's interacting with the Mycroft cases, and there's the cases for the police, and yeah, there's lots of stuff. But like, I don't want to go just randomly explore everywhere. And I'm not... I want a story. And I want interesting cases. That's what I want. Okay, right. Mycroft hid the truth about the death of our mother and lied when he told me that she died of tuberculosis. Yes, we were already aware of that. Okay, so those just interact there, right? Okay.
Look at this. It's like traveling 10 years into the past with a single step. Oddly satisfying.
Okay, yeah, so in 221B Baker Street, there's bullet holders in the shape of VR.
Need to repeat this one day, but with bullets.
Yeah, there we go. So doing it with darts. Is it darts? I don't know.
This time I was first to pick beds. This one's mine now.
You're not real.
An artifact from Palau carved out of bone and claimed to be 300 years old. My mother proved it was a fake. My very favorite plaything. It was the perfect pirate treasure.
And a ball.
Cannot believe all my toys are still here.
Hey, they were not just yours. They were half mine too.
You live in my head. You're not real. I think I'm allowed to claim them. Oh, chemistry set. Oh, yep.
The first chemical laboratory I ever made. I almost miss its elegant simplicity.
That's not a laboratory. That's just a holding place for test tubes. Robinson Crusoe.
The only fiction book on my table. I can still hear my mother reading it to me.
Well, there wouldn't have been any detective fiction, because the first real detective stories were Poe's. Which I think... Well, they might have lined up with him, but, I mean, he was more a horror writer. Like, early detective stories were basically part of the horror genre, till they span off and became detective genres. So, yeah, so... I don't think there were any real detective works until Poe. So, okay. I was just wondering if maybe there would have been something that, you know, they might have gone down the route of, oh, maybe this is one of his favourite child life books, and that's why he became the detective. But no.
So many pleasant evenings were spent here with the Encyclopedia Americana.
Why not Britannica?
Interesting. What's that over there?
A key.
This doorknob has a cross-shaped end. Too intricate to be merely a handle.
You know what? That definitely looks like a key. Let's poke around and see if we can find any secrets.
There's a hidden item in the room.
A magnificent tool made for a spurious purpose, staring into the sky. I've definitely found a better use for it.
You mean for spying on people?
Yes, because learning about the stars and physics is spurious.
Look at this, John. Remember how desperately I wanted to learn the violin? I never had a proper opportunity.
Such a shame. I always hated the rule about being silent in this place.
But he did learn how to play the...
Coal dust from Miner's End, sandy dirt from the old city. We scoured the island top to bottom for these soil samples.
So there's a hidden item somewhere.
This brings back memories. We used this old diary to keep track of our adventures. I think it was my father's. One of John's first pictures. I think this was supposed to be Mycroft. He really has improved his skills since then. John, do you think we can visit some of the places mentioned in the diary for old time's sake?
Why not? Nothing like a stroll down memory lane. Note down the places you'd like to visit, and I'll add what I remember of them.
You're not real.
I'll never forget how challenging it was to obtain this simple sketch.
That's what we've... okay, so that's like our detective board, is it?
Oh, these must be the notes of my earliest observations. We wanted to locate a particular dog we'd spotted, and we met it, didn't we?
Did we? I'm being grumpy about... I'm being grumpy about some... Like, this is the way his childhood is, but...
Oh, it reminds me of our neighbour. He had the same balloon in his yard, only bigger. Do you remember?
Yes. We visited him several times while living here.
Okay, we'll have a look at that. Apparently there is a hidden item somewhere in here. Oh, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Yes. Gotta click on the circle. Click on the circle.
Perfect match.
A pipe, of course.
Still has a faint odor of tobacco, one of the few things on this island that smell like home. Made of cherry wood, father's favorite.
Pipe of Sigurd Holmes, a small straight smoking pipe made of cherry wood that belonged to Sherlock's late father, Sigurd Holmes. We had to hide it from Violet, as she didn't know we stole it from his cabinet in London. The wood is old, its surface is worn from frequent use, it's well maintained, a faint scent of tobacco lingers. Sherlock has taken his father's pipe with him. I sense it carries considerable sentimental value. You can't have it both ways. You can't have him be very kind of, this isn't appropriate, this is spurious, astronomy is spurious and terrible and, sentimental. Just pick one.
My small archive of crime clippings. Maybe I should pick up this habit again.
I knew you'd find it in no time.
Okay. But we have a new Mind Palace. That doesn't make sense. Oh, hello. Well, there are no records about my mother's friend. We had a family friend on Cordona. He may know something. Okay. Looking for a friendly... No records about my mother's death. I do recall an old family friend we had here in Cordona. An eccentric man named Theodore Gilden. He was missing the little finger on his right hand. And if he still lives here, he may be able to shed some light on her passing. He used to live in one of the neighbouring houses near the Greek bridge. And he had a gas balloon in his garden.
Wasn't that neighbour missing a finger?
That does sound vaguely familiar. Wasn't his name, Theodore? Theodore Gilden, perhaps?
It's the perfect time to investigate.
Why? Right. I am not opposed to... Like, I think I do jokingly comment on Americanisms sometimes. But when they're in a fantasy world... or in America, or said by Americans, of course it's appropriate. We are playing a Victorian Englishman. He wouldn't have said yard. Ugh, right. I'm going to assume these other doors have not opened. No. So... yeah, I thought so. Thought you'd turn up if I did that. I found the treasure, won the game. Found a bedroom, I think it was upstairs sometimes. So that... Okay, so there's still something there? Let's have another look, see if there's something else there. But it might be that these other rooms aren't going to open up yet. It might just be that... yeah, so I think we've kind of explored everything here. So it might be that we have to go off and interact with this fellow. I think I'm going to... I don't think there's many of these side quests that that just grab me. So I might just work on the main quest. And if we stumble across a side quest on the way, like a case on the way, that'll be great. Right. So... towards the Greek bridge, they said? If it's that way. I wouldn't really say that these were neighbours. I would say that was a neighbour. I'm going to... okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the casebook. He used to live in one of the neighbouring houses near the Greek bridge, and he had a gas balloon. So, okay, well, we'll have a look at these two, because they seem to be closer to the Greek bridge. Why? You could have simplified things and not made this an open world and not have all of the problems with the graphics. I genuinely don't know what the problem is with this game. And the problem is, if I even slightly lower the quality of the graphics, they are awful. Alright. Family friend. So I want to find...
That wretch Goliath would murder us all. Mark my words.
Oh, Gildan! Gildan, that's what we need.
Destruction and trampled ground.
Right, yeah, so they said Gildan. So this is the right
As
place.
if they were struck by a battering ram.
But struck
I wonder how we managed not to hear any of this.
outwards.
Destruction and trampled ground.
Okay, but it looks like they were battered from the outside. Oh dear.
Oof, a contortionist you were not.
Okay, well... is this who we were looking
A
for?
missing Pinky, middle-aged. It's none other than Theodore Gildan.
Pinky? Calm down. Calm down. It's just bad writing. It's just bad writing.
Disjointed vertebrae. Difficult to say if it was a way to start or finish him off.
Was this deliberate? Because it could be a very giant man, or considering we're in a, like somewhere here, it could just be... No, because, well... I don't know. We'll have a look.
A kneecap reduced to splinters.
Did he fall off a carriage?
A belt from a dressing gown. Curious.
Oh boy, Sherlock. Another death means another question.
And we shall answer the question. It's far too interesting to give it up to the police.
Right, well let's... Something was chained. Okay, well let me interact with that.
A strong pull broke this leash.
Chain! It's a chain. Call it a chain. How do I even interact with anything? Elephant. Elephant?
A pool of blood and saliva, possibly as a result of impact.
Okay, and then... Yeah, you want me to interact with this? Because it's a circle. It's got a circly thing. We interact with the circly things. How am I meant to interact with these other bits and pieces? Alright, so I can't interact with these outside of this. So it won't let me interact with that. There's another couple of things around here. See if it goes yellow at some point. I think I'm meant to interact with these.
A pool of blood and saliva, possibly as a result of impact.
Yeah.
A strong pull broke this leash.
So I can't interact with these in any other way. Well, we'll have a look at some other things. Various large vegetables. I can't kick the ball. And this must be the water, I would assume. Yeah, so it's making me aware I need to interact with these two things, but it's not letting me. Oh, I have to do it like this, don't I? No.
Poke the elephant with this? Really? People are hopeless.
I don't think we'd actually realised it was an elephant. Oh, because I hadn't clicked on that
Sherlock,
first.
take a picture of the footprint. It's valuable evidence.
E to activate camera.
This photograph can help us find the old article about the elephants. The front page was fascinating. It was hard to believe as a child.
True. We may need it in our investigation.
Okay, so... Yes. Gilded cage. The elephant Goliath may have attacked Theodore Gilden in order to break free. It's possible, but I'm assuming there's going to be more to it. I mean, it does fit what we know. Child lived here.
An amount of attention that most can only dream of.
Can I go inside? No. Right, so I have to go and find this article about elephants. Is that what I'm doing now? Hello.
Didn't we get to fly in it as children? I doubt it could hold my weight today.
Oh, there's the balloon.
He was certainly under pressure.
I was hoping for actual advice on what to do next. Not. I don't know. Some slightly silly joke about a man's death. I don't want that in my Sherlock Holmes. Body of a man was found in the enclosure of a pen of a large animal. Dressing gown, belt. Large enough to leave footprints 8 inches wide.